All right, okay, let's get started. Hi, hello, welcome back for the very last episode of this week's Offset. My name's Ryan Selvy. I'm your host, and we have had 7 other episodes up into this point. So if this is your first time seeing an episode, either on the replay or live, welcome to it. This is the cream of the crop because we have had the most experience out of anything up to this point. Earlier today, we just had Jamie Brindle, who talked about freelance, and we walked through the whole process of having your own business and making sure that you are not, having people take advantage of you, and also making yourself sound professional. And it was really cool, really informative. Had a great time. And if you want to check that out, the replay will be available on YouTube and it will be available on Behance. Just go ahead and check it out. Look for Offset Jamie Brindle, and you should be able to find it, as well as all the other replays that we have going on. But for our last episode, which I am so excited about, we're having Racheal Ashley on. She's another live streamer on Behance. She also has worked in the animation industry as a recruiter, and she is here to talk to us about everything that it takes as she looks out at new artists, and how she works with prompts, and how she works with the different studios. And I'm really excited to pick her ear, or pick her brain. I always say pick her ear, pick her brain about kind of what her experience is like in her industry. We earlier this week did photography. We've done cinematography. We've done illustration. We've done graphic design. So this is like the last one besides UI UX. I'm sorry to abandon all my UI UX fans out there. So next time on next Offset, which I don't know which will be, make sure you write your letters to your local Adobe congressman and say that you want to see more Offset. I'd appreciate it. There's a lot of people in chat that I want to say hi to. A lot of people that are been hanging around all day and all week, which has been really cool. Hello to Annika and Umacorn, Misty, Oliver, Anthony, Steve, Cornell, who else? Elizabeth Mock. We got a whole bunch of names. Gareth Williams. If I'm missing your name, I'm sorry. Chat is moving quite fast. But a big also shout out to Voodoo Val, who is our moderator of the episode, and she will be holding it down over on Behance. If you're over on YouTube, I'm glad you're here, but you should be over on Behance. Voodoo will post a link in the chat to direct you over to the Behance area, and over on the Behance area, that's where everybody is having all these conversations. It's easiest to moderate over there and keep track of all the conversation in one place. So if you want to join the conversation, hop over onto Behance. If not, and you just want to watch, it's good having you on here on YouTube as well. Like I said, we're going to bring in Racheal Ashley, which I'm very excited about. We're going to be going over her work, and we'll also be just watching her doodle as we talk through some stuff. So it's my pleasure to bring Racheal in. If you guys could please give her a very, very warm welcome. Give me lots of clapping emojis or smiley emojis or whatever you want, as long as it's appropriate in the chat, just to say welcome. But please welcome Racheal Ashley. Hi.
Hello.
Happy Thursday.
Yay,
We're
happy
there.
Thursday. Pre-weekend.
Pre-weekend. It's kind of my Friday though, just because Adobe's taking off tomorrow, and so I don't stream tomorrow. And I had a lot of other client stuff that I had to get done before then. So I think I'm just taking tomorrow off, and I'm gonna bask in it. It's gonna be great.
You deserve it. Please take tomorrow off. Please do.
With that said though, I have been looking forward to this stream. And not just because it's the last one, but because I love watching your streams on Behance. You stream from Fresco. And for those of us that don't know who you are, do you want to just introduce yourself and talk about who you are as an artist, and kind of how you identify as an individual in the industry?
Sure. And can I just say this stream is so much more advanced than mine. I'm like trying to keep track of all my windows and like all the chats and stuff. Good job, Ryan. Um, but hello, I'm Rachel Ashley. I work in the animation industry, specifically as a talent sourcer at Nickelodeon. My coworker likes to refer to that as like professional stalker, which sounds a little creepy, but basically I go out and I find people like the best people in the industry to come work at Nickelodeon, and I find their contact information so we can reach out to them. That's where the stalker part comes in. But I'm also an artist mainly for fun is what I like to say. Is I draw on stream, I draw for myself. I'm all about drawing. But my main job is, recruiting type stuff like that.
Professional stalker. All right. Okay.
Professional
That's also a
stalker.
private investigator, but a little bit different than a recruiter. But to each their own. I like to think of you probably as a professional stalker with taste, maybe.
I
Yeah,
mean,
you
I
with a
like that.
vision.
Yes, and I like that I can change sorcerer to sorcerer too. It sounds very like magical. So sometimes you'll see that on like my Instagram pages.
That's great.
Sorcerer.
So yeah, underneath your face, I have a little icon for Behance and Instagram. On both, you are Racheal Ashley Art. Very clever name, just as mine is Ryan Selvy. And while we get into it, I want to pull up your sketches in a second. But before we do that, just so people know what we're working with, let's take a look at your work.
Let's look at your work.
Well, I love animals and I love your art style, and they come together in the most beautiful way possible. So this is your
Oh.
Behance. Which one do you want to look at first?
Um, any of them. I don't have that much stuff posted on Behance. I feel bad.
No,
Um,
not at all. I mean, this is plenty. I mean, you already fill out. Also, if you go onto your profile and you go to live streams, you can also see a bunch. Oh my
what?
god!
Oh,
I didn't know this existed.
that one
What
was
is
really
this?
fun.
This
I
is
did
hilarious. I
multiple
can't believe I missed
versions.
this.
Yeah, it was fun. I want to do a whole like chubby Pokemon series.
Look at his little knee rolls. That is
It's funny because you look
adorable.
at it and you're like, that's a Pokemon, but like there's something off about it.
Something. I can tell you exactly what's off it. That's the weirdest Jigglypuff I've ever seen in my life. It's like a Furby Jigglypuff.
Yeah, those
Elizabeth
are
says, "Are
fun.
you one of the recruiters we hear about who scout for people on sites like Tumblr and Instagram? That
Heck
would be
yeah, I
awesome."
am. Yeah, I love sourcing through Instagram. I'm always saving people's art on there. So, guys, post your stuff online. Like, I know some people don't like social media, and I get that, but sourcers like me will come across it and then we'll try to get you hired.
Yeah. And one thing that I learned through you is you said that your main talent sourcing, though, a lot of times comes from LinkedIn, right?
Yes, I should
Which is
honestly be
super weird for me to
sponsored.
hear.
Yeah, I should be sponsored by LinkedIn because I like pitch it so often. I'm like, please, like, have a LinkedIn, post on LinkedIn. Like, I always send your LinkedIn page to every hiring manager and I check it to see like where you worked at most recently. I just like, I cannot emphasize it enough because it's like the only website where people can post their work and also have like a professional resume basically. And so yeah, every time an artist is like, I don't have a LinkedIn,
That
I'm like,
and
get one.
Behance. Behance
Yeah,
has a
yeah,
great place for your
yeah.
resume.
I actually pitched Behance yesterday when I did another panel for Rise Up yesterday. I was like, guys, Behance also has like a professional feature to it. So
Yeah, and a place to
I'm
find
all
job
for it.
stuff. So it's always good to have more locations to show your work than others. I will say I would suggest, if possible, to tell anyone to at least pretend to be a recruiter for a day. I had to be a recruiter for live streaming on Behance and reaching out to people to see who we could get to live stream.
Yeah.
And my perspective of online presence was radically shifted and changed. Like I've always known that it's important to put stuff on social media, but until I honestly like wanted to find proper representation of what I wanted to see and search through it through social media channels, I was shocked at how little people actually broadcast themselves. Like
Mm-hmm.
you look up certain tags that you would think would be very obvious tags, and I remember I would like catch up and be like, oh, I'm already back on like on Tuesday. I've already seen this post. Like how it's all of Twitter, it's all of Instagram. How have I managed to get all the way back?
Yeah.
So if
Or
you have the ability to like pretend to be a recruiter, so you get that perspective, I think that helps a lot as well to kind of know to advertise yourself.
yeah. And it's like sometimes I'll find someone that like I love and then I can't find their name or like their email
Christ.
anywhere. And I'm like, please.
I can't contact you,
'Cause
and
they're
like, all their DMs are shut off, and I'm like, what?
yeah. Yeah. Their Instagram name will be like Harry Potter Slughorn or something. And I'm like, this tells me nothing. Like I can't
It
use
tells me
this.
nothing. They're like, you're in the creative meeting on Monday. They're like, all right, who'd you bring us? And you're like, well, I found Muggle born boy 28, and don't know how to contact him, but he's got great stuff.
That's what it's been like for like avatar candidates because a lot of them are so niche. I'm like, I found this one and their name is like a their Instagram handle is like a name of a character from the show. So I'm like, I don't think that's their actual name.
Right.
It's yeah.
Everyone is just Aang.
Yeah.
Everyone. Which yeah, are you allowed to talk about that at all? Are you allowed to talk about that project?
I can talk about it. There's just like not much because it's so early in the
Mhm.
beginning, like nothing is really happening yet. You know,
But
I
this is
was
separate from the
sourcing.
Netflix real life action one, right?
This is for an animated um movie for
For
Avatar.
Nickelodeon. For
Yeah.
Avatar, Last Airbender, not the blue people.
Yeah, different. Avatar: The Last
Not
Airbender.
not
Yeah.
not James Cameron.
Yeah, no, different movie. But yeah, I love Avatar: The Last Airbender, so I was super excited to source for it. I went through like thousands of character design applications, and while that was like a lot and it was very tedious, it was also very fun because I'm just so passionate about that series and that show in general.
Who's your
But
favorite
yeah,
character?
besides who's my favorite character? I mean, Katara is the one that, like, as a child, I was like, I'm Katara. Like, that is my spirit person.
Waterbending.
Yeah. But I mean, if I had to choose an element or a bend, what are they? Bending quality. What is it called? I don't know. It would be air, I think, because then you can fly. You know, you got
Yeah.
the little.
I think I would do fire. I know fire everyone hates fire. Or that no, actually or earth. Fire
Oh
or earth.
my gosh, you dangerous boy. You're like
Yeah, that's
the
what I like.
evil people.
Yeah, man, bring it on. Let's go. Like I don't want to be, air, whatever.
At one point, one of the Fire Nation people makes like a dragon out of fire, so you could do that, which would be
That
cool.
is terrifying. So these are all different pieces that you have from live streams, right? These were ones that originally started as live stream sketches and then
Yes.
came into something
Yeah.
real.
Mhm.
Sassy and
Yeah,
spooked.
that's typically how I work is I'll do a bunch of sketches on my streams and then I'll like color them in and make them pretty privately. I don't know why I do that. I just like don't want you guys to see that part for some reason.
Fruitival says, nah, Fire Nation for the win. They are the Sith Lords of Avatar.
They
Yeah,
are.
I like that. Becca has a question for you. What percentage of hiring is due to the art quality compared to the personality or other elements?
Ooh, I mean, art quality super high up there, but also like if the person's a jerk, then I'm gonna be like, "Hey, this person wasn't very kind when I spoke
Not
to
easy
them
to
on the
work with.
phone." Yeah, not easy to work with. And to be fair, my boss, Camille, who's the VP of recruitment, she's very kind. And so if someone has a difficult time with one team, she's always like, well, maybe they'll do better with another team. Like, let's give them another chance. Like, even if they were like, this person was not great to work with at all, she's like, well, let's give them a second chance. Like, she's very sweet. So for me personally, I would say, art and then personality, like less important, but still up there. Like, so much of the entertainment industry is like networking and making connections. And obviously, you have to be somewhat of a decent person to make it in the networking world.
Yeah. Also, Laura wants to know, how does one get a job like yours? How did you kind of fall into this? Was it always something that you envisioned? And yeah, what's your
Oh,
advice?
I love this question. Um, I did not think I would end up in recruiting at all. And honestly, I think most people who are in recruiting feel that way. They're like, I didn't want to be in recruiting. But I started as a Nickturn at Nickelodeon, and I was
Nick Turn.
a Nickturn, yeah.
Never heard that
Um,
before. That's funny.
Started as a Nickturn. That I still feel like was just like luck and like somewhat of an accident because I didn't even apply for like the marketing internship. I applied for something else, like a production internship, and then they called me and they were like, "Well, we don't have that one, but you could maybe do this one because you seem to have a little bit of a background in that." And I was like, "Yes, yes, yes, like whatever, I'll do it." So I did that, and then I happened to sit next to the research department, and so I worked in research doing focus groups with kids for a little bit because I just like chatted them up, and they were like, "We need a coordinator," and I was like, "I can be a coordinator."
Oh, I could not do
Um,
that. If that was a prerequisite for being a recruiter, count me out. I am awful with children. I try, but they never
really?
like me. Yeah,
Wait, why?
I lost touch of it at some point. Like, for the longest time you always know like what kids find actually cool. And then I don't know at what age for me, it's just like it's a barrier. I think Kristen Stewart did a SNL sketch where it was like Duolingo for talking to children. I was like, I need that. I need that.
That's true though. Like you get to a point where you haven't been around a kid for a while and then you see one and you're like, "How do I talk to you? Like, can I talk
You're
to you like a normal person?"
small human. How do you
Yeah.
know? What do you So you
Um,
did that though, and how was your experience with working with kids and kind of getting research and talking with them?
that was so cool. Like I love that so much. We had like the two-way mirror where like the kids are in a room and then we're sitting on
Mhm.
the other side taking notes.
Yeah.
And the kids just did like the most hilarious things all the time. Like one, their commentary on the shows. For one, they don't like to talk. Like they're always just like, it was funny. I thought I liked it. And then you're like, why did you like it? And they're like, I don't know. You have to like really like pull it
Yeah,
out of them.
exactly. That's what I run into, and rather than being able to know the right questions to ask next, I'm just like, "It's as far as we're getting. Guess that's all they
um
have to contribute." So,
yeah, and
um
I just remember kids, like there's one kid who he had like an entire jug of water for some reason. And at one point in the middle of the session, he like tried to pick it up and it spilled onto his lap because he wasn't like strong enough to pick it up. And like the entire jug spilled out all over his pants. And the researcher it was like, do you want help? Like, are you okay? And he was like, no, I don't want help. And he was just kind of like, okay. And like, we're not really
Kids are
supposed
so
to enter the
goofy.
room during the research
Yeah.
groups because it like messes up the
Yeah.
questions. So this kid was just like sitting in this puddle of water until the end of the thing, and he didn't want to admit that it had happened. It was like, classic kid moment.
Classic kid moment.
He was fine,
Um,
for the record. He was fine.
oh, for sure. I mean, it's water.
Yeah.
It's always like that mentality of being like kid again is crazy. Rob is requesting that we saw the draw along portion of the show, so I am going to
Oh,
share your
okay.
screen. And do
Yay.
you have any ideas of what you want to kind of draw today? Are you feeling any certain type of way?
I was thinking that this morning, and I haven't drawn all week, so I was like, I should probably stick to something simple. So I was thinking maybe I'll start with like fish. Is that is
Okay.
that okay with the chat?
Yeah. How do you guys feel about fish? I feel for
Fish?
you because I'm interested to see how you're going to add variety to them. I feel like they're for me. I always kind of just draw the generic one.
Oh, you just
Um,
draw like the goldfish, like the
a little goldfish, a little.
yeah, no, I will
Um,
fish are fun because it's such a simple shape that you can really like exaggerate. Oh, is that from your place? I hear
That's
honking.
me. Yeah, I'm trying to mute. Sorry.
No, no, you're good. It's funny. My mom came to visit last weekend, and she was like, "You could never drive in New York," and I was like, "What? Why?" And she was like, "Oh, you just couldn't handle it." I was like, "What?
Are you a polite
Really?
driver? Are you like you're
I
like, "Oh, you go. Oh,
no."
I'm gonna get over. Is it okay if I get over?" I'm like, "No, you need to go. Let's go."
I feel like I'm a cautiously aggressive driver because, like, I drive in Los Angeles, but according to my mom, driving in New York is like 1,000 times more intense? You would know better.
I don't know. I've never driven in LA, but I definitely drive a lot in New York, and I can definitely attest to the craziness that is New York driving.
Or my mom just has no faith in my driving. I don't know.
I mean that too. Yeah, you might have to work that out in therapy.
I'll get her in the chat.
Yeah, right.
I'm
Get Mama Ashley in the chat. Also over on YouTube, guys, if you're over there, make sure you hop on over to Behance if you want to hop into the chat. But while you're there, I did see that someone asked about Kyle's show, Drawing with Kyle, because they're looking for it. But he actually does Let's Go Fresco now, which is on Thursday mornings. Let's Go Fresco with Kyle T. Webster, Thursday mornings at 7:30, only on Adobe Live. And I actually also falsely said earlier that tomorrow is entirely empty. Apparently, office hours are tomorrow as well, as is a replay of the Daily Creative Challenge. This is our last live broadcast of the day. We have a Daily Creative Challenge replay after this, but then you guys are on your own without me for tomorrow. So sorry for the misinformation. Look at that dumb old big eye. That is a big eye.
But fish don't have nostrils, right? Because they have gills.
No, I don't think so. Or maybe they do. Maybe they filter through their nostrils into the gills. Maybe no, because I feel like the gills just pick it up.
Wow, we sound really smart right now.
I mean, I'm not a fish person. I don't need to know about the glub glub.
You're not like Shape of Water, Fish Man. Did you see that movie?
I did not see Shape of Water, but that is Baltimore, isn't it?
Is it?
Or maybe it was just filmed in Baltimore. I think the Shape of Water is in Baltimore. I think.
I'm not good with. I haven't seen it in forever. Someone in the chat correct us.
Betting The Shape of Water in Baltimore, Del Toro said, was meant as a tribute to those movies. Yeah. So it is. Okay. It's set in Baltimore.
At first, I thought you said Voldemort, and that's why I was like
Voldemort. Yes. Harry Potter, come to die. Abracadabra!
That's the best part of those movies.
There's a guy that did a TikTok, and he's like holding a shish kebab like in his hand. And he pretends to like have it be his wand, and then his family gets really mad at him. Like, every time we have shish kebabs.
Oh my god. I watched TikToks on YouTube, but I don't have the actual app. My little sister's always like, just download the app. And I'm like, but if I download it, I'm gonna be on it all the time.
Yeah, no, then I'm enabling myself at that point. Clever said she had an eel named Slimy Capped Jack Matilda Hawk. One, that's a very long name. Number two, I didn't know people owned eels. Is that a thing people do?
How big was it?
In your fish tank?
I feel
was it like a large eel?
I mean, don't eels eat other fish too?
Yeah, so like, wouldn't, if you put anything in with the eel, wouldn't it just like be like, oh, here's dinner, and you're like, oh, there goes Tony the goldfish. Tony is not the best goldfish name, but maybe it is the best.
Did you ever have a goldfish growing up?
Oh man, I won a few at a few carnivals, and I had one that like killed itself by jumping out of the tank, which was really depressing.
Wait.
Yeah, it was really sad.
Oh my god.
I don't know why I did that. It's not like we had a cat or a dog or anything that pulled it out. Like, I just came home one day and it was not in the bowl, and then a few days later I found it under like a toy car that was in my bedroom because I was younger. This was not recent.
That's insane. I mean, as a child, what did you think? You were like, oh.
I was devastated. I was like, why would he want to do this? What led him here?
I'm sorry, I'm laughing. It is funny though.
Yeah. But the thing is, this, I used to get, it was this summer carnival that happened every year, and I would always get a bunch of fish. And my parents were always like, we're not going to get a tank because the thing's going to die before we get a tank. So just put it in a fish bowl for now. And then my sister got one after spending $7 on it. And so she named it $7. And $7 lived for so many years. And we were like, wow, this thing won't die.
So apparently if you spend money on it, that's how it survives.
I guess so, but $7 isn't even that much. I mean, I guess you'd get a goldfish for like $1, but you know, who knows? All fish eat smaller fish. Okay, but is an eel a fish? Or is it
That's
like how a
crazy.
spider isn't an insect?
Imagine if all humans ate smaller humans.
Oh my.
Or just like any species that if they like ate the smaller version of themselves, like what? I have heard that bigger owls will eat smaller owls, and that made me very sad because I thought owls were more peaceful than that.
But have you ever seen owls' legs? When you like lift up their feathers?
I do they I mean I would imagine they look like chicken legs.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you.
Okay.
I'm gonna pull it up on stream so everyone else can see it as well. Look at their legs.
Wait, they're
What?
so skinny, but also muscular at the same time.
They need to go to like leg day, but also they're
Oh
so
my
high up. Like
gosh.
all that
Yeah,
space is
what?
not body. Like you think that on the left there that it's mostly body, but
Wait,
no,
that's
it
so
goes.
cute. They have like little dresses on, and then you can just like pick it up. Oh.
Little lift. Little lift. So weird. So strange. Elizabeth Mock says, yes, the owl with legs. Legs for days, baby. Eel is a fish, says Robert. Oh, okay. Thank you. Wait, why Christy Lee? Why are you talking about JC Penney Optical in the chat? Are you are you showing the stream to the optometrist to show them the owls? Because I can pull the owl back up. Oh, this guy looks sad. He
The
looks like a
fish?
sad fish. Yeah, he's got a little frown.
He does. I mean, I could like put up the corners a little bit. There we go.
Cornell says that we should put pants on owls. And
I
says
bet
I'm
if
here
you
for
Google
owl
it.
content.
Oh,
Boo.
God. I should draw an owl at some point during the stream.
An owlfish.
Ooh.
You did some at some point. I'm gonna see if I can actually find that while you're working on these fish. At one point, you did a bunch of crossovers of like animals with something else.
Yes, we could do that this stream too. I love doing that.
They always kind of land on these really kind of mythical vibes, but also kind of just like what's wrong with your animal vibes.
Yeah. They're a great like brain game because you're like, okay, how will these smush together?
And what elements do you pull from, you know, what parts of what animal, and how much do you need for each one?
Yeah, because there was one that was like a giraffe wasp, and like when you first imagine that, you're like, impossible. Wasp is tiny, giraffe is big, but we made it happen.
I like your thought process. Impossible. Giraffe big. Wasp tiny.
I am a cave woman sometimes.
Okay, sorry. I'm being too much of a chatty Cathy. I want to talk a little bit more about your industry and recruiting. I would love to know what you kind of look for when, I mean, obviously it changes project to project, but are there certain aspects of design and portfolios that you kind of look for, like project wide?
Yeah, so you know, most of the time when I'm sourcing, I am sourcing for a specific style. Because they're like, we need, you know, designers for SpongeBob, and they want people who draw in the style of SpongeBob. But in terms of like, we also get like development projects with things that are just starting, just happened, and or like just were greenlit. Sorry, I was like reading a text from my boss in the corner. Projects that were just greenlit, and so the style hasn't been defined, and that's when I get to be like, oh, I came across this really cool artist on Instagram that could be like a really cool fit for this new show. And in that case, you know, for animation industry, I'm gonna want to see one, just like a lot of like fun designs that show a lot of personality, expression with like the expression sheets where you can see the character's face in a bunch of different um one angles and like moods and stuff like that. Two, if it's for character design, I want to see a turnaround. I gotta see like front, back, side, three-quarter. That's kind of the huge defining factor between like illustration portfolio versus animation portfolio, is that animation is like we gotta see it like turned into 3D space versus just like one flat 2D sketch.
Yeah, and like left up to the imagination of whoever is actually doing it. Now, for someone who's inexperienced with that kind of animation industry in its entirety, can you kind of talk through the process as to how recruiting works for a TV show? I know you spoke kind of having shows that already have a style versus ones that don't have a style. You come in on Monday morning and they say, okay, we are going to be animating Giraffe Wasp, the TV show. What's next? What happens?
So with every show / production at Nickelodeon / like they have features now too, we have meetings with them every week with each one. So we'll have like a 30-minute meeting. We'll get together. They'll say, this is the show. This is the style. This is like the mood. This is who we already have working on it. And then I say, okay, great. And if I have anyone off the top of my head from like Instagram, I go, hey, what do you think about this style? Like this artist is like a little bit grungy or like moody. And then I'll maybe show some stuff. And they'll be like, no, that's not the style. And then we'll usually say, okay, great. We'll gather some names and we'll come back to you. And then it's just like a lot of refining of us sending candidates that are a bunch of different styles and then like passing on people and then moving people forward. So in terms of like me sourcing for people, like I have like a ton of folders on my Instagram where I save like story artist, character designer, prop designer, and then I'll have like even more defined folders that are like action comedy and then like preschool style like bubble guppies.
And do you
And then
build
I
those
can
over time, even when you're not looking for a project? Like, will you just throw them in a folder and come back to them later?
Yeah. I'm constantly building up those folders, which is why I'm like heavily relying on Instagram right now because it's just the easiest way. Just go in, like pop the little save button, put it in a folder, and then come back to it later.
Do you know that you can hold down on that little button and then go in? There was also one that I saw. You can also hold down on the share button and then click a direct message. I've just recently learned that in UI.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Elizabeth Mock is finishing school up soon, I know. But she was asking, do you recruit people to work in person or has it been more flexible with remote working over the past couple of years?
It's been way more flexible. Like if you're a freelancer, you definitely don't need to come in. If you're a staff employee, it's going to get a little bit tricky now because we are returning to the office. It was supposed to be everyone at Nickelodeon was supposed to return. I think it was this week actually, but some like union rules with masks and tests got in the way and so it got canceled. But it's pretty much like, yep, you're going to have to be in the office at some point. It is a hybrid format. So like if you're concerned about the location, just know you can be hired as a freelancer and then like, save up money, figure out where you want to live, and then potentially get hired as like a permanent employee. That's how a lot of people do it.
Yeah, because you're based in LA, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously, there's a lot of studios there. Obviously, there's probably some studios down in Florida. Atlanta has recently become a really big place. I know Adult Swim is down in Atlanta, which I always thought would be kind of cool to work for. But I digress. You probably can't say anything because that's probably competitor, right? You're like Adult Swim, nobody watches that.
No, I honestly, every time I go on LinkedIn, if I see another studio posting like we're hiring, I always like it because I'm like, there's so many people in this industry. Everybody needs jobs. I'll do what I can to help.
When you're working on a illustration collection like you are now, obviously you're working in Fresco. You're using just like a generic, like colored pencil brush. Do you normally stick to the same brush?
Yeah, well, I'm using just the generic sketching pencil brush. This one is definitely my favorite. I will also go in and use like there's other basic ones that I kind of like. I like this like soft round variable. I like Kyle's brushes. I think I have them saved in my favorites. But yeah, for sketching, I feel like I always go to this one.
It's funny how I always like find the same one that you just kind of have like comfort in. I think it looks great. It works. It feels like it's like straight on on a piece of paper. But where
Yeah,
would
I
you say
know.
you source most of your inspiration from? Do you is it just kind of like a combination of all the stuff you've looked at over the years, or are there ones that you feel like you go back to a lot? Is it
Um,
style to style?
in terms of in
Drawing.
terms of
Sorry,
drawing.
drawing what you're drawing now. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I tend to just like Google, like I have fish open on Google just to be like, this is what a fish looks like. Got it in my brain.
Yeah.
But I try at this point because I draw animals so often, I do try to separate from that and just kind of look at it briefly and then like ignore it and focus in on, you know, figuring out like a good shape that's not too close to like a realistic fish. I think shape language when it comes to design is so big. Like that's why I always start with like, oop, with like, you know, circle head, and then I'm like, okay, maybe like tiny little body, tiny tail, go with big fins on this one. Like I think experimenting with those things has been really, I don't know, crucial in like my growth as a more like character prop design type
Right.
things.
And then I see some questions in chat about what you use to animate, but I know that you are predominantly in the recruitment phase and you're not normally animating or drawing anything at work. That said, people are asking about kind of like what people are using. Have you tried animating anything in Fresco?
I have not.
It's
I know that
relatively new.
Hayden. Yeah, I know that Hayden probably has. But yeah, I have not tried that feature yet. I think just to clarify for everyone, because I'm sure there's people from like all different industries in here. When I say animation industry, it encompasses like a ton of different roles. Like a lot of the actual animators for Nickelodeon are actually overseas. And and it's more like the design and like the writing is done at the actual studio. And then they kind of like send that stuff over to be animated in a different place. So I think like when I, for example, tell people, oh yeah, I work in the animation industry, they're automatically are like, oh, you're an animator. I'm like, well, there's so many different roles in an animation studio, just like there is in a film studio.
It's like a movie
So
set.
just
Yeah, there's so
yeah,
much going on.
yeah. So just
Also, you
some
brought up
context.
Hayden,
Hmm.
who is another uh, streamer on Behance, and he also
Hmm.
does a lot of stuff in Fresco or what have you. If you don't mind, I'm going to give you a little bit of a break, and I can pull up his little demo reel. We can check that out real quick.
Sure.
I met Racheal through Hayden. That's why I feel like this makes sense to show. Racheal's work definitely speaks enough for the show itself. We don't need to have other entertaining things, but just since it came up, I want to give it a show. And I'm realizing that I didn't share my audio, so I'll just do. It's nice little like high bells playing. It's just imagine the prettiest music you can think of. Speaking of which, though, actually, I can turn on music over here. Let's listening to "Feeding the Ducks" again. We listened to that yesterday, and it was fun to listen to. Let me know if the audio is too loud in the chat, by the way, guys. Let me know if anything works out. Yeah, and so yeah, I had the pleasure of meeting Racheal through Hayden. So grateful for it, and you've been such a great contribution to the network of streamers that I know. And you've made a way streaming every week. When do you normally stream?
I would say I tend to stream at night on like Tuesdays and Thursdays. I still have been terrible about getting an actual schedule together. Anyone who watches my streams know this. I'm like, I'll stream tomorrow probably. But you know, that's just goes into like the randomness of my streams is that I'll just like pop on. I'm like, all right, we're drawing shellfish today. And then people just go with it. And that's kind of what's fun about it.
Shellfish. Also, Annika says, if you guys haven't checked out Hayden streams before, come hang out. Sorry if it's self-promo. That's not self-promo. Also, Annika, you're not a rando. You have my permission to say whatever you want as long as it's appropriate. Yeah, no, you guys actually worked on a animation pitch together a few years back.
Yeah.
How was that experience for you?
It was, it was great. So this was on us because we procrastinated until the very last minute because we had like a specific pitch date that we were supposed to go in. So I remember we had our sketchbooks. We had a bunch of ideas floating around, and then the last 2 days before, we were like, "Oh shoot! We got to get this together." And so we stayed up very late, putting the pitch together. Hayden wrote a bunch of stuff. We drew the characters together. Then I designed some backgrounds and props, and
because you have experience as prop designing, right? That's what you really found joy in when you were working on this pitch, right?
Yeah, I think, it was characters and props go hand in hand, but when I was first entering the animation industry, I was always I want to be a prop designer because it's a very straightforward entry-level role for a designer.
Can you also, I'll on a tangent real quick, can you just kind of describe what that is? Before you, I didn't really, it makes sense, but I never really thought of it as somebody who wasn't in the animation industry. What's a prop designer?
So a prop designer designs anything that the character interacts with that's going to move. So that could be a car, a coffee cup, a sprinkler that goes off and sprays water on the character, or if there's a fire in the corner or something, the prop designer would design the flames. So yeah, it's if you want to be in the animation industry, that's a really great entry-level role because as long as it's a simple show, it's not too complicated. You just need to be able to do turnaround of a prop just like you do with the characters, front, side, back, 3/4. And yeah, I think it's cool because you can add a lot of personality to inanimate objects.
And also, if your streams have taught me anything, I know Elizabeth Mock right now is saying this stream inspires me to draw a lot more. Holy moly! I know Racheal's one of the best illustrators that I know. But one of the things that your streams have taught me is that you can draw something so many different ways, and it can have so many different moods, even if it's not something with a human face. You can draw a chair, you can draw a table, and you can make that table feel like a mean table. You can make that table feel like a soft, cuddly table,
Yeah.
Which, is one of those things that I feel is pretty straightforward, and a lot of people know that, but it's nothing that really ever really clicked with me until I kind of saw how you manifest and add variety to so many different objects that you create. So
yeah.
Cool.
That's one of the best, one of my favorite things to do is when I go to a coffee shop and I'm sketching, if you draw the things around you, but you add personality to them, it's so fun. You should try it.
Yeah, just give yourself parameters of being okay, I'm going to draw that keyboard, but that is going to be the grossest keyboard that I can think of,
Yeah.
And then right after that being I'm going to draw that keyboard as the cutest keyboard I've ever seen. I know we were talking a little bit about this crossover stream. This one I was thinking of. And this one has the cow and the giraffe. The cow and the wasp, and the wasp and the giraffe. It's the body right here in between is so gross. Well done. When I say gross, it's not a criticism. It's just I kind of hate it.
Thank you.
And this was another one of your streams. Down here in the bottom left, you have this also gross snake pug. And this pug actually would be a very great transition. You can keep drawing, by the way, keep going at it. But would be a really great transition from a new segment that we just introduced actually earlier this morning called From This to That.
From this to that.
And this is where we look at your oldest available post
on
social media and the most recent. So right here we have a pug that you drew and you uploaded. I didn't look at the year, but it was years ago. It was back when everything else was very Instagram was a different place. And then now you most recently have kind of one of these collections. How would you say that your style has changed? How do you feel like you've changed as an artist How does this make you feel seeing them side by side?
Gosh, well, I don't know about any other artists in the chat or even you, Ryan, but there was, a long period where I would get out my sketchbook and I would try to draw things like super realistically. Like I would draw a lot of like celebrity faces and like, take my little pencil and get like super, super detailed in there.
My little pencil. You really degraded your pencil there.
And I always had colored pencils with me. And so I think like my mediums have changed so much because I don't remember the last time I touched a colored pencil. Not that they're bad, I just like digital is so much easier to just like pull out your iPad and like sketch some stuff. But also just like the way I approach things. Like I'm not trying to make things look like ultra realistic, or I don't focus on color that much more anymore either. Now
I know,
it's
but
like
but when I was going back to look at it, I mean, this is years ago. This is from 2018. But I look at this and I'm like, wait, really? You just don't do real life anymore? Like, this is beautiful. I saw this last night and I had never even seen this work from you before. And I saw that you have a whole like row of these absolutely beautiful skin, like the blue and purples that you have in these are just so pretty. I love what you still do now. I don't think that this like necessarily trumps that. I just think that it was a new side of you that I hadn't seen before, which is exciting to see.
It's funny because I used to do that stuff all the time and I still enjoy it. Like I think one of like my favorite like therapeutic ways to draw is drawing like insects super super realistically, or like leaves. Or like I'll pull out watercolors and I'll paint like a leaf as like intricately as I can. But those tend to be the things I don't like show to anyone. And I don't really know why. I think it's just I'm so involved with like animation, like cartoony, like pushing personality and shape language.
You're too busy like, sharing, zebras with tambourines.
Yeah, it's funny how we evolve like that. Man.
Also, a few other ones that I thought were really cool is this crazy like breakthrough of the face with just because the one up here was not you, right? That one is this is somebody else, and then you're drawing it in a style that's similar, right?
Yeah, I love those challenges. I think the hashtag is just like draw this in your style. Let me see what I put. Draw this in your style or something like that. I love those, and I almost always take like the human and turn them into an animal because I think it's fun.
Yeah, I mean, because obviously like drawing animals as well.
Yeah.
Oh, this one guy looks a little sad too.
He's sad. Fish. They were just. It was getting too happy. We needed some sadness in here.
Also, I think it was a really good call out. Voodoo Val mentioned the SpongeBob detailed zoom-ins being one of her favorite things, like a keyboard with nasty patty vibes. As a kid, I didn't really understand the zoom-ins, but as I grew, and now if I watch older episodes, I'm like, man, that is like real art there. They're gross. They're really gross. But I could see one. I could see one having like one framed in my bathroom. I could do it.
Wait, why as a kid did you not understand it?
Because I was like, why is this a different style? Like even Chowder. Do you remember Chowder? Did you watch Chowder growing up?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
I didn't like it because they had a texture that didn't move. The characters moved, but the texture stayed the same. So the texture was static, and as he moved his head, and for whatever reason, as a kid, that just like, if I couldn't conceptualize the reason behind it, it like kind of was off-putting for me. So as a kid, when they did the zoom in, I was like, why is this not SpongeBob? What is happening? What's this nasty patty?
I love that because I know you weren't the only kid who thought that way. So it makes me wonder, like, when they did focus groups with kids, like, there was probably a lot of kids that were like, I don't get it. And they were like, well, oh, well.
It was also for the adults, too, though. I mean, it's the thing that made original SpongeBob so good was that, it was annoying, but it was still digestible to adults. I haven't watched the recent ones, but you can just tell there's a style change and a shift change of, and I'm not asking you to criticize it because I know you work for Nickelodeon, but it has changed in a way that like it is just a different TV show now, and I'm glad kids still like it, but a lot of the reasons why I really grew to love it as a child, they don't necessarily lean as heavily on those things, or they lean on them too hard.
Yeah. And
like I said, you don't have to comment on that. I don't want to put you in a bad situation.
No, it's fine. I think it's interesting. And just for context for a lot of people, like, not only did a lot of the artists change for the show, but a lot of the writers changed. So, like, the actual comedy of the show is being written by different people. So that's going to change the vibe of it. But you know what I think is really interesting about that show is that they still hand paint the backgrounds.
Do they really?
Like, yes! It's crazy.
That's crazy to me.
And
I mean, kind of cool though.
It's really, because I'm just like, wow, it's amazing that like they've kept this up, because honestly, it kind of doesn't really make sense in the modern age, because like digital is so much faster. But you know, we'll send the team, they'll be like, we need a background painter, and I'll send them a portfolio, and they're like, well, we don't know if this person can do watercolor. And I'm like, well, no one has watercolor examples in their animation portfolio anymore, so we gotta figure out how to like get around this somehow. And like, I don't know, send them a test where they like mail in their watercolor design or something.
Yeah, and then you're relying on snail mail or whatever for something that has been done digitally within a day, and now it's suddenly 3 weeks long.
Yeah.
I don't have any art history for you guys today, but I do want to do a quick art talk just because we were talking about SpongeBob close-ups. So let's do it real quick. So here's a Imgur, or it's Imgur, I think, folder of a bunch of different SpongeBob close-ups. This is not the art history thing that I would ever think that I would ever touch on. But when we were referring to the different SpongeBob close-ups, these guys were talking about they're gross, they're crude, they use a lot of texture, whereas the rest of SpongeBob does not. Some of these I have not seen. Other ones I know exactly what they're from. old Mr. Krabs. Oh gosh, yeah. And then they say they have these things too where they combined the two, and they have a like lots of strokes and detail on just one element, and then they put it in front of the old style. Creeps me out.
Some of these are hanging up at the studio too.
Are they really?
Yeah, they're on display.
like hairy legs. I hope that one's on display. Some of them are just so grotesque. I mean, obviously this one's iconic.
The most famous, yeah.
The most famous of them all. But it was just really interesting, because then you can see the physically painted things in the back. Do you know if these as a whole are the butt pulse comes up? Sorry about that, Adobe Live moderators. Do you know if these as a whole are painted as still life, or do you think these are done digitally?
Yeah, some of these are hand painted still lifes, and I know that because I like gone up to the actual paintings at Nickelodeon and like examined them very closely.
That's had to be weird, like seeing something from an episode that you grew up on and then being like, oh, this is literally the thing that was photographed for that episode.
It's crazy because I'm like, someone is gonna steal this. Like some angry employee is just gonna like walk out with this picture hanging on the wall.
This is the grossest one I think I've ever seen. Is that even a real one?
I don't know that one.
That seems like a fan one. I hate that one. Interesting. Oh, this one's great. But I digress. Sorry, I don't mean to pull away from your drawings too much.
No, I like it. You're
doing a great job. These fish are looking really good. The other way that SpongeBob approaches fish is really interesting. It's funny to kind of see that character design and being able to take something and remove it far enough to make it anthropomorphic and digestible for kids. But then you also have I think Fish Tales. I think that is a show that's on.
Fish Tales. I feel like the characters in Gumball might be fish, or no. They're sometimes animated
Fish Hooks
characters
is the one.
Oh, Fish Hooks, yeah.
Yeah. And that's approached completely different than SpongeBob. Not completely different, but still the character design is, they don't really have feet, which is interesting because you don't think of fish having feet, but in SpongeBob they have feet, whereas in Fish Hooks, which I believe is like a young elementary school show. I don't know, I'm not sure. I think it's like Nick Jr. style. It's from Disney.
They're cute.
But that's also really interesting to kind of see how the character design changes off of the same source material. And then then we look over here and we got these guys. We got a very angry guy on the bottom left.
I feel like I should
do you
give
think
one
you'll be
of
able to
them-
do an eel today?
Oh yes, definitely. I will.
Oh, Courage the
giving this
Cowardly
one
Dog
little
and Ren and
hands.
Stimpy are all very upsetting styles.
That's true. I was
Reverb
scared
might
of
remember
Courage the
DuckTales.
Cowardly Dog.
I think everyone was. I think that I think the government made it to scare children. Also, I say this every stream now, and I guess this would be the perfect time to bring it up. This is Adobe Live. I'm taking over Adobe Live. However, that said, the views and opinions expressed on today's stream are solely my own, and anything that I endorse or condone or criticize or lift up are my own feelings and not because of Adobe. So, with that said, Courage the Cowardly Dog was made by the government to scare children. Oh man! Oh, this guy has arms. Ooh, I don't like his hands. I don't like.
Yeah,
them. I like.
I
him a lot.
decided
Keep
to make
him,
a little weird one.
He's like I keep bringing up SpongeBob so much. But it's kind of like when SpongeBob gets those giant arms and that he inflates. They're like the big biceps. Muscly guy. Booty says Courage both inspired me and gave me nightmares in equal parts. Yeah,
Oh.
I feel that.
Did it inspire you to be
so
more
we are about an
courageous?
hour. Oh, say again.
I was just asking if it inspired them to be more courageous.
Oh, it definitely did not. It did not inspire me more courageous. Stuart says Cat Dog was a good one. Oh, Stuart Fickling. Stuart Fickling, you I recognize your icon because Evan Abrams animated it. I remember that. That's so funny. I love the Behance community because it's like kind of like Micah was for me, where it was like only like a 2,000 person like undergrad, I think, and so you didn't know everyone, but you kind of knew of everyone. And I feel like when I'm in Behance, I see a lot of regulars, and I'm like, oh, we might not have struck up conversation before, but I know you, so it's good to see you. Thanks for being here. Also, Lulia says hello. Good to see you.
Hello. I've been neglecting the chat. I feel bad.
Oh, you're fine. No, I'm keeping eyes on it for the most part. It's completely
Voodoo's
tanked.
defending me.
He's learning how to jump.
Oh my god, look at the kitty.
Yeah.
Oh,
so I just got him 2
hello.
days ago, and Aaron, my boyfriend, was on vacation, and I did not tell him, and he just got home about 2 hours ago, and I just introduced him to the cat, and I was like, surprise, we have a cat now.
That is so cute. What is this cat's name?
So, we're trying to figure one out. I'm thinking Roscoe. I don't know why, or Rocco, like Rocco's Modern Life.
That's cute.
It's like maybe a Twister Squid from Rocket Power. Thinking maybe Pixel because of art.
Ooh, that's clever. That one's actually really unique too.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah.
Squid and Twister or not?
Oh, okay. Well, they are. I feel like I like Pixel better. That's all I'm gonna say. I like Pixel better.
Well, that's what we have you on here for, the expertise.
What does the chat have to say about it? Kitty. That's what they say.
They say kitty. Have you ever made any paper frame by frame animation? Well, she doesn't do a lot of animating on her own, as she does the recruiting part of it. But have you ever done like a flip book or anything?
I did when I was like 10.
Yeah. Okay, let's pull that up real quick.
I wish I could, because I know that, I don't know, I did them all the time too, where I would do like a little baby chick like falling into a pool, and then it like comes out and it like shakes the water off. Like I would do stuff like that all the time. Did you do that?
Like, it probably looks like the stuff that I would make now, just because we're just like, oh, I just threw something together. I loved Keyframe is cute. Is a cute name. But I loved Captain Underpants, and Captain Underpants always took the bottom corner, and they always had a flip book in the over the entire book, and I always thought that was really cool.
So did you copy that, or you just liked it?
Yeah. No, I copied it. Of course I copied it.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
Mine were like cool, like stick figures doing like action stuff and jumping off of buildings.
Were you like an artist kid, like in elementary school?
Yes. I loved thing that I really loved was Pappy Drew It, which was a TV show. It was an awful TV show actually, but the cool part of it was at the end is he taught you how to draw things and you would draw together. I would love it. And I have two older sisters who are not artists, and I'm the youngest, and they would do it with me, and then my parents would scan mine and set mine as the wallpaper of their computer because mine was the best.
Oh, how did your sisters feel about that?
Oh, they were furious. They still complain about it to this day. And I'm like, guys, I am an artist for a living now. You guys are teachers and lawyers. I don't know.
That's so funny.
Oh, man.
Dang. So were you the kid in school where people would go up and be like, draw me a car. Draw me a dog.
Yeah, for a little bit, but then other people started getting better than me. Because like I'm now in like the motion design era, so I like was more into the computer and I was more into design than I was at perfecting my craft. Well, not craft, but my trade, my skill. But I like to go and I like to learn how to draw more. I'd love to be able to draw at the capacity that you have, but obviously you have dedicated hours and hours and years to get where you are now, and it shows. So it's good to see.
Well, that's because I enjoy it. And if you don't,
right.
Like I don't know if you've noticed this about your artist friends, but all the people that I know that are like really amazing artists, they go to the grocery store and they're like standing in line and they like pull out a sketchbook and they're just doing like little sketches while they're in line.
Yeah.
They do it all the time.
It's their joy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And there's something to be said about like people who go to the gym and work out a lot and get big because they enjoy it, and then there's other people who go to the gym and get pretty good, get pretty big just because they know the results. And I think there is a differentiator between those two, especially even with drawing. I don't know if I'll ever be the ones that would love to be at the gym any given day, but I do see the value in practicing more and more.
Mm-hmm.
I aspire to get better at face, hands, and feet, just like everybody else. And just 3D space. I think you have a talent for really making things feel solid and existing in like a 3D space, even if they're 2D. Like looking at the fish here on the left, like you can see not only is it kind of turned, but you can also feel it kind of go over the edge of the animal. And it's something that I would like to experiment more with line weight and vibes to become stronger at.
Yeah,
like I said, I used to take my sketchbook everywhere in college. I got to revive that habit. I know I miss a good sketchbook, which actually is a great segment into one of our sections that we call
What's your sketchbook?
All right. So I know that you don't have a traditional sketchbook in the sense of like a Moleskine or anything that you carry around, but I do know that you like to kind of pull up and go around through Fresco and work through stuff. Do you want to share a little bit of something?
Yes, I saved some random stuff in my folder. Thankfully, I pretty much only have art and pictures of my sister's cat.
Oh, that's cool. I can also see it right down here, and I'll pull it up once I see that you pull something up. So you don't even have to share your sister's cat.
Wait, so you guys can see it?
I can see it, but it's not there yet. So let me know when you're ready. I'll pull it
I'm like, are you guys looking yet? Okay, I'm ready.
No, we're not looking yet. All right, cool. Bring it on in.
So this is just I don't know. This is just me sketching gargoyles. Because I'm gonna do a children's book at some point, and I'm gonna have gargoyles in it. So I've been basically trying not to draw Neopets has been my goal lately. I'm like, don't draw Neopets, don't draw Pokemon, do something different.
And don't draw Spyro.
What's Spyro?
Spyro's the purple dragon.
From what?
From like PlayStation or whatever.
Oh,
Spyro,
I didn't have a PlayStation growing up.
You know him.
So I'm like, I don't know. This is just two little frogs. It's supposed to be
over the garden wall.
Over the garden wall, but it's that style, and it's the two Toad and Frog. I was like trying to think of that book, Toad and Frog. It's supposed to be.
This might be my favorite thing you've ever done.
Wait, what? Really? I was never gonna post this.
Oh my God,
no one was ever supposed to see this.
Voodoo Val says I'm melting. Oh my gosh.
Oh, you guys.
Oh, it's
That's so
adorable.
funny
I
because I
love
was
it.
like, I'm not posting this anywhere. Yeah, I like to combine styles. So I was experimenting, drew some bats. This is just kind of example of like how I approach when I am like, I want to draw this breed of dog. I forget what it's called, but I was like, let me experiment with poses. So I drew a bunch of poses, drew it in like, little fashion poses, drew a little collar around it. I think I did end up posting the finalized version of this somewhere on my Instagram.
I like the one on the bottom right in green with the royal
Yeah.
thing going on there.
Royal
It's a
pup.
posh dog. Oh,
This
Voodoo
was
says, bring back the bat ears.
bat ears. This
Yeah,
little
look
guy?
at the big old ears. They're little like satellite dishes. Your drawings initiate a response with me that I don't normally like to put on stream. With me just being like,
Oh, it's good to get the like pet voice where you're like,
yeah.
This has been
I
on
hate
my
it.
Instagram.
Thank you. I hate it.
I was gonna
It's the
show another like example. I'll do like a couple different poses just to kind of see what I like, and I ended up going with him like sitting.
That one, this in this rendition feels very like Jabba the Hutt meets Little Mermaid meets Oogie Boogie from Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
Right? Like,
Oh,
or like
that
if,
yeah,
I love that character. That character's cool.
he's so scary. So
In
scary.
Disney World, they have one where they can rip off the skin of him and have a bunch of bugs underneath him. I thought it was really cool advancement in character design. It's gross, and as a child, it'd be terrifying. But as an adult, I was like, how did they do that? Like, that is the coolest design.
That is impressive. Some sad bears. I was probably sad the day that I drew this, if I'm being honest.
Oh,
That's just how art goes.
Sad bears.
You draw your feelings
Yeah,
sometimes.
the one on the top right looks like I told him that he can't go to Hershey Park anymore. Man, you said we were gonna go.
Some ponies.
Jeez. These hairy ponies.
Yeah.
The one on the bottom right just got a blowout.
Yeah. They definitely have My Little Pony vibes.
My Little Pony vibes, but also vibes of like serious hairstyle. Good for them.
I love because
Nicholas
hair
is asking Illustrator or Photoshop to color, and these are all made in Fresco, right?
Yes, this one is definitely
So,
Fresco. I can tell by the brush strokes. And I either like sketched in Fresco and maybe colored a little bit in Procreate, but I don't think any of these I ended up bringing into like Photoshop or anything. I mainly just use my iPad these days.
Oh, these are cool. I love how 90-degree angles are incorporated into such a soft object.
Yeah, I was experimenting with the horn shape, and then in the corner you can see I was kind of testing the silhouette to see what it would look like.
Do you normally do silhouettes for any sort of like design that you have?
No, but I feel like I should because it's so important to the appeal of the character. So I should do that more. More, little. I guess I don't know if these are goats or sheep. I should probably be a little bit more of an animal expert considering how many animals I draw.
Educate yourself. Don't put out misinformation. Look at these little balls of fur.
This is my doggie. I love her.
Oh, man. The one where you can't even fully see the face in the direct center is really cool because it looks like an O. It kind of looks like a burrow pom-pom, but I can also tell that it's a dog that is furled up, and it's just a cool way of showing that animal.
She's a little donut. That's what she is. This is a character that I never ended up doing anything with, but he's like a little clover dragon. I feel like I probably drew this on St. Patrick's Day like last year.
Oh, wow. So it's like a year old now at this point.
Yeah.
Great pose in the bottom left of him in like play stance. It's fun.
Yeah. More of my dog. I'm sorry. I draw my dog a lot these days. She's just too cute.
Elizabeth Vox says 36 days of type, but it's Rachel's pupper.
Yeah. Oh, yes. I would.
There's all pictures of the dog.
I would love that.
He's got so much floof.
Yeah. She's a fluffy little girl. More gargoyles.
Oh, I like the middle one. I keep saying I
Oh,
like the middle
thank you.
ones, and the one in the right middle looks like Simba,
It does.
right?
I was trying to figure out how to make them a little bit cutesy because it's like this is supposed to be for kids, like little kids.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. We'll see where that goes.
That
These are
middle one
sketches.
on the bottom though looked very. She looked like gives me the energy of the squid in Finding Nemo. That's like, I have one tentacle that's shorter than the others, but you can't really tell if I twist. Like, I feel that voice coming out of that character.
Oh my god! I like how it kind of sounds like Hermione Granger.
Yes, it does. Kind of. Which has similar vibes for sure.
Yeah. These I posted the finalized version on my Instagram. One of them's overlapping. Whoopsie. But little pumpkin
Looks like
sketches.
From
Yeah,
Emperor's
they're
Group.
supposed to be like Disney villains.
Yeah, Jafar in the bottom center.
Yes.
And Ursula in the on the right and on the bottom. Captain Hook on the top right. Maleficent in the top middle. Top left's just like Frankenstein, though, right?
Yeah, you're right. That one's not.
And
it's
the
not
bottom
Disney.
left is Frankenstein's wife.
Yeah. Yeah. Those
Did
are
you
really
know, or I
fun.
guess Frankenstein's monster's wife? Oh god, don't come at me in the chat. Did you see they're doing a classic monsters area in the new Universal Park?
No, that's kind of fun though.
Like they're gonna do like the Mummy and the Lagoon Monster and Frankenstein and things. From
I
outer
feel
space.
like if you go in that area though, they're gonna have people dressed up as the characters and they're gonna chase you, right?
I would think so. I would hope so. Universal isn't scared to scare you.
I can't do stuff like that. I'm too much of a wimp.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe they'll have like calmer nights, nights when they're like, okay, we
Yeah.
promise we'll just be the cuddly mummy tonight.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll do that.
Stuart says, I love
Dogs.
that there is total commitment to the line stroke, no furry lines. Yeah, Rachel's always good at that. Racheal has confidence in her line work. That is to be admired for sure.
Yeah, I feel like you're gonna see my what do you call it? Furry lines? That's a funny way to say it. Furry lines. You'll see those on my stream sometimes when I haven't been drawing lately. You saw some of it today, just because it's like if you don't keep your arm moving, it forgets how to do it.
Yeah, and you get nervous about it.
Yeah. Little piggies.
Little Babe. I haven't seen Babe in a very long time.
Ugh, I love the mice in that movie.
There's so
remember
much
the mice?
to like about those movies. The mice are funny. I remember even the horse at a point, which is funny because I'm not normally a horse person.
You're not a horse boy? Oh.
Not a horse boy.
I'm just gonna keep scrolling through until you tell me to stop.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love drawing this breed of dog. I forget what it's called. It's the little
greyhound, right?
Greyhound, yeah.
I always remember them because of the bust.
Oh yeah. They're so skinny and I don't know, the angles on them are so cool.
They're so
and they
weird.
run so fast. And they're so their little faces are always ooh, they're like little aliens. Yeah, I've drawn a lot of them. Horses.
For sure.
Horses for the horse boy.
Get out.
I won't call
That
you
feels
that.
like the Hercules horse.
It does. You're right. Maybe I was
which
looking
also
at a
lines up a lot
reference.
with the Tangled horse. I'm dropping so many Disney references tonight. Or I
Hey,
guess
Disney
today,
movies
because
are
it's their
great.
lunch break. Oh, hey.
Squirrel girl.
Hey, squirrel girl. She looks like she's going to lead an aerobics class that's going to kick my butt.
I think that's where I was going with these. I was workout. Oh, this one's swimming or something, or he's gonna row a boat. But yeah, I was trying to do fitness squirrels or chipmunks. This was from my coworker when she left the office.
Oh, the kitty cat.
She had a
Both
bunch of chickens and a bunch of cats, so I was like, okay, I'll put them
Do
on
they
there.
coexist, though?
Oh, this is just a screenshot from one of my streams.
That's great.
And then, yeah, I feel like this now is going to
This
be
is all
more
just stream
finished
stuff.
work. Yeah.
But that was great. Thank you so much. I mean, it's just really great to see that Posh. That's the villain from Pocahontas. But it's really great to just kind of also, I know we're fortunate enough to see your process kind of unfold live on stream. That's kind of what you do. But it's also nice to see the things that you don't necessarily share, and kind of to the point of like Toad and Frog, things that can really, really resonate with others, and you just don't think anything of it. It's always kind of nice to be able to see that, which is cool.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you for letting me share.
Yeah, of course. We're about another half hour way through, and if you have ever watched the show this week, you guys, you'll know that it would be a great time for some monkey paws. Okay, so have you ever done monkey paws before, Racheal?
I think I watched you in this right before this, but you'll have to show me again.
All right. So basically, our hands. Hi, Derek. You're not late. We still got like 30 minutes left. Monkey paws is a great way to take care of your body while you are constantly sitting at the computer or over the draft table, or it applies to artists a lot because we rely so heavily on our hands. But even with a lot of this work from home and electronic working, we're all doing repetitive hand movements, and it's really important to take care of your body. So while you're either lurking and working, or if you're intently watching, I encourage you to do this along with us and just give out some stretches. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to take both hands, you're going to reach them towards the front of you and then out, and you're going to bring in your fingers and go ooh, ooh, ah, ah.
Do I have to make them ooh, ah?
Yeah, very, very important, very important. And then you'll feel like feel a little bit more. Yeah, the cat just got onto my lap. Then you're going to put your palms down like this, and then you're going to bring them in with monkey paws. Ooh, ooh, ah, ah.
Ooh, ah, ah.
For a second. And then you're going to flip over your hands so your palms are up and out. You're going to bring them in one more time for ooh, ah. There you go. And then you're going to bring them and face towards you. And the last one is ooh, ah. And if these hurt at any given moment, give it a stop. You don't want to push yourself. You can do them nice briefly. I like to shake it up in between them. And you can do this a few different times. We normally just do it twice on stream and then leave the rest up to you. So you guys don't have to look at my hands for 20 minutes, but we'll just do it again real quick for you. Reach forward. Bring it back out. Oh, you're hiding from stream so you don't have to make the noises.
No, I'm like moving around. This is what I do during Zoom calls at work, is because I always have my standing desk, so I just like walk around.
Well, also what you guys might not know is Racheal also had a brief stint at Riot Games, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that your headset is so funny because you totally could work at Riot with that headset. I like how you walk around your streams with it.
Yeah, there's a lot of people at Nickelodeon that when I first came back, they were like, "Do you play video games?" And I was like, no.
I pretended to for a few months.
No, I like this headset though. Like, it's comfortable. Like, I can use it in the office.
No, I mean, there's reasons why gamers use it because they wear headsets for so long and they need to be comfy. But thank you for doing monkey paws with me. Also, it's important to hydrate and it's important to stretch your neck a little bit. If you have the ability to get up and walk around, get up and walk around. Racheal's walking around. It's her MO.
Yeah. I mean, my standing desk has like the hand crank rather than the button, and so it takes forever to bring it down, and so I just always have it in the standing pose, which is it's good for me, Yeah. It's good that I bought the cheaper desk.
With a button, but because of the way my cords are set up, if I go up and go down, sometimes it can like take things down with it. So I'm always really scared to do it. So I need to find a better cord management situation, and then maybe I'll use standing desk a little bit more, but I wish I used it more than I do. It is funny when I stream with it on because I'm way more I'm already animated obviously in my streams, but I'm even more animated in the idea that like I just could run around and do little flips and twists while
I know it changes stuff. So I use my standing desk when I go into the office too, and like my head is slightly higher than the cubicle, so I'm always like a little meerkat, just like doing like the 360 to see what's going on.
HyperX, now an HP company. Thanks, HP Tech Marketing, Rick.
Oh.
The funny thing about Racheal, this is a random piece of trivia, is that so she worked at Nickelodeon. Is it okay if I share this information?
Sure.
Yeah. She worked at Nickelodeon. She left and went to Riot Games. She was one position over at Nickelodeon. She left for Riot Games. And she left for Riot Games while we were in lockdown and we were in the pandemic. So she quit the job. She worked at Nickelodeon. They said one day, come home, don't come back in because there's something going on. Hopefully it'll be over in like a week or two. LOL. And then, so she left her desk as is. She worked at Nickelodeon for a little bit longer, then ended up transferring over to Riot Games, where she also did recruiting there, right? You did recruiting at Riot Games. Worked for Riot Games for a little bit, and then a great opportunity came back up at Nickelodeon in a different position. So she went back and worked at Nickelodeon again. Now, all this is to say, this all happened while Nickelodeon was shut down. So the entire time she left the company and came back to the company, her desk went untouched. And so then eventually they said, you can come back into the office only if you already have a desk. And it didn't actually work out this way, but Racheal was joking on her stream. She said that she's like, technically I can go back in because I still have a desk. I worked another job and came back in a different position, but I still have a desk that isn't been touched.
It's crazy too, because when I went into the office for the first time like a couple weeks ago, I had my employee pass from like 3 years ago, and I was like, I left the company and came back. I'm like, I'm pretty sure this is not going to work. And I brought it up to the security guard, and she was like, beep. She was like, good to go. I'm like, what? Like, how? Is this a security issue? I think it's just like, you know, the little chips they renew, but I
think they probably renew and they figured it out. I will tell you, so I know a lot of people know this, but my gig at Adobe user live streaming ended on Friday, which I'm so grateful for, and it was on good terms and everything. It was all planned. It wasn't because of anything. But man, I have a laptop through them. Like within like 24 hours, that thing was wiped. I can't even turn it on anymore.
Oh my god!
I was like, wow, you guys are secure, which is good. I mean, that's what you want in a company. But then I also just remember you being like, I still have my Riot laptop. We'll see. I contacted them to return it, and they haven't gotten back to me. I was like, oh,
yeah, it's
Adobe
so weird.
Ain't messing around. Good on you, Adobe.
Well, and
that's
like
not criticism, that's a compliment.
Before I left, my coworkers were like, you should go get like new headphones before you leave, because they were like, they're not going to ask for them back, like they can be yours. But I was too scared. I couldn't do it. They were like, just go to the tech
because you're a
desk,
good
like get a bunch of stuff. I was just like, no, they're going to find out.
You have too much on your conscience. You totally could have done it, but you know, good on you. Oliver says, I have a bunch of reminders to take breaks for the day, and I've renamed them all to Monkey Paws. Anna would love it, because Anna Davis Court is the one that taught me how to do it. She's the one that also did the illustrations. I animated her illustrations for that intro, but she's the one that did the monkeys.
I love her artwork. It's so pretty.
Very inspiring, very pretty, very cute.
And she
it'd be cool to see you guys do a collaboration.
Oh my god, yes. She did like Oxalotl. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, she did axolotls on Monday.
So cute.
On the stream.
I used to kind of want one of those.
This one feels like it would hurt. Did you look up the concept book for Luca at all, by the way? It was free online. I don't know if it's still free.
No.
But I feel like you would get a kick out of that. They had some really pretty stuff that you would enjoy.
Did you see Red? Is that the name of the new Pixar movie?
Yes, Turning Red.
Turning Red. Did you see it?
I have not seen the concept book, but I did see the movie, and I loved the movie.
It was good. Yeah.
The animation style was fascinating because it was very stimulating in the same way that Spider-Verse was. So much so that I was like, I guess this is the way that animation now kind of looks. And it makes sense for our shorter attention spans. But it was just kind of really inspiring to see Disney kind of embrace a new animation technique for their style. And kind of go into new territory, both with the subject matter, diversity, and just trying new styles with animation, which was cool.
I mean, I didn't directly relate to the main character that much because I was never super into like a boy band or stuff like that when I was a teenager. But there were so many people in the animation industry that were like, this is me, like this was my childhood. They're like, I relate to this so much.
You've seen it, right?
Yeah.
You saw the whole movie? I love when she goes underneath the bed and she starts drawing.
Yeah, it's a great scene.
That I related to. That I was like, oh, okay, yeah. No, I was drawing.
Yes, I did draw anime characters as a little girl. Did you draw anime characters growing up?
I tried. I was horrible at it.
Oh.
Thank God I never got good at it. No, thank God I never got great at it because, as I don't know, a U.S. citizen, it doesn't really necessarily make as much sense to try to recreate the traditional art of Japan, where I feel like most of the studios are, and it would be weird if I like really got into it and then went over there and was like, let me draw the way that you draw. But not to say that someone can't do it. It's just like I think it was a quote maybe from like Morgan Freeman or something, and it was all about casting people with true experiences versus people who are just portraying the experiences. And this is also something that's kind of come up more in cinema, even conversation more recently. But it's like, yes, of course, you can always hire actors or talent to portray something that they're not. But at the same time, you're asking more of that person, because not only do they have to then approach the subject matter, they also have to approach the subject matter and also suddenly absorb all this stuff that they haven't lived in their own life. And I feel like that I can also relate a lot to art and styles and upbringing. I think that it's important that we're a global world and that we can all create different things from all around the world. And it's exciting to see kind of different, even the animation industry, it seems like, is kind of embracing that more so than they even used to.
Definitely. Yeah.
But yeah. Bruce said you had an anime group. I was not in an anime group. I don't know if there was an anime group in any of my schools. I know it's a thing now, though.
Anime group. Yeah, I don't think I was in one. I don't think I was. Blah! I can't even say it. But I don't think I was in one.
You don't think you were in one? How do you not?
Don't think I. Well, because like I definitely had a group of people, and we all drew anime, and we all read Fruits Basket.
Fruits Basket. I watched Fruits Basket. I enjoyed it.
There's a show and a manga, right, for Fruits Basket?
I think so. I think that's how most of them work. I think if there's a show, there's either a manga that was created off of the popularity of the show, or the show was created because of the popularity of the manga. I don't think that many live without the other. Voodoo says that she started an anime group after school. We were ... not popular.
Aww.
You would be now. Everything that was nerdy that was for us growing up is now cool. And I'm like, what? Who made that decision? Because I was there and I was liking all those things. And I was not cool. Bring me to 2021 middle school. I'd do a lot better.
Yeah, I feel like now that like the quirkiness is seen as being more unique and interesting, where before it was like, ew, that's weird. It's weird.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I'm not in like high school or middle school, so I have no idea what it's like right now. I'm just guessing.
Right, perception-wise, yeah, no, it seems like Gen Z has a better grip on the idea of individuality and being okay with being yourself.
Yeah. What was your fashion like in high school?
Bad.
Bad? Okay.
Well, I also had to wear a uniform though.
You did? I always wanted to wear a uniform. Is that weird?
No, it was nice and it was bad at the same time. You could you had to wear a tie and you had to wear a belt, but you had full disclosure over what that tie and what that belt was. So that's what everyone used as a way to show your personality. Definitely wore like some not classy looking belts, but hey, it was dress code, so we were fine. But no, I liked it and I didn't like it. It's nice to not have to worry about what you're wearing, but then at the same time, it's not the most comfortable clothes, and also like you don't get to really say what you're wearing, so it's
right. Yeah, I think as a kid, I was always like, oh, that would be so much easier if I like didn't have to think about what I'm wearing. But if I was like forced into it, that changes things, you know?
Right. So I see it both ways, you know.
But I wonder how much of that had an effect on like it's like the Steve Jobs thing where he wore the same outfit every day, right? To save brain power. That was him.
Is that why he did it? Is that also why Zuckerberg did it too?
That's what they say. It's like if you don't spend those extra minutes thinking about your outfit, you can spend that energy on something else.
I don't spend that many minutes. Those minutes maybe like 2 to 3 minutes at most. Voodoo Bell says, my high school fashion was fedoras and Goodwill Hot Topic chic and
Oh
fingerless
my
gloves and a
gosh.
Naruto headband. This is a lot to
Yes.
digest, Voodoo. This is a lot to
Yes.
digest.
my
Cool. All right. So I realized that we haven't really hopped into the days of type. So let's hang back a little bit and check out what letter today is brought to us by.
Today is brought to you by the letter R.
So we looked at a few of these in the last stream, just the beginning ones. So I'm going to go through these first ones real quick. But this one's really cool because it looks spiky on the outside and soft on the inside to me. But they are the same, which is weird. So it should be like spiky on both sides technically. But for whatever reason, I see it soft on the inside. This guy is cool. He's doing letters based off of different painters and stuff. So if you go on this one today, letter R was brought by Alfonso Mucha, which does these beautiful goddesses. But if you go to his page, which is Paul Trois, he has a bunch of different letters, all for the days of type, and they all have different history lessons on them, which is cool.
Ah, cool.
Okay, so this one is by Waste Creative, and I think it kind of looked like a parking lot to me. I thought it was cool. I liked the use of color, and even when it's not in an enclosed area. So on the far right and the top left with the green, I think it adds a lot of depth and balance, and otherwise wouldn't be there. And so I think this one's pretty nice.
Mm-hmm. It really draws your attention because, yeah, if that was painted on the sidewalk, you're like, what does that mean?
Yeah, right. It's like some weird symbol, and you're like, oh, it's an R. And yeah, there's a few ones in here today that are strange and have crazy abstractions.
Ooh.
This one feels like a lowercase R, absolutely. It was by Annie Zhang, and it's very loud, but I think it's very clear as to what it is. I don't think I would ever doubt it was an R. But the black and very dark green is also a bold choice.
It's very like 70s vibes, I want to say.
Which would explain why I like it, because I really like the 70s aesthetics. So
Me too.
can you say? Then we have this one. I really like this one because it reminded me of the I Spy books. I don't know if you played them growing up, but they're like these beautiful photographs, and you have to like find all the different things.
Wait, why does it remind? I'm not getting that. Explain.
Because they would have like a bunch of different ones where they would have like these like cellophane or plastic pieces that were kind of built together to make the areas. And
Yes.
I kind of feel like this is similar to that.
Yeah, you're right. And they would have like little shadows behind them. So, yeah, I see it now.
Oh, and Bruce said that he talked to Paul on Instagram, told him that he was featured. Thank you so much for doing that. I really should go through actually and tell all these people when I featured them throughout the week, because I was just pulling off the hashtag. So, like I said, 36 Days of Type is an official thing that's brought together by a brand studio called 36 in Barcelona. This is not affiliated with them. We're just using the same days as them. And obviously, I want to push as much marketing and traffic to them, because they come up with a really cool thing, and it's a really cool way to find new people throughout the month. This one's by Format Foundry. It kind of looks like a P and an N to me, but I really like it. Also, R is cool because my name starts with an R. Your name starts with an R. What a perfect day to have R.
Double R day. Yep.
But I think this is really cool. In context, I'll give it an R. Without context, I don't know if I'd be able to identify it as an R.
I agree. Yeah, it definitely looks more like a logo on like a business, and I wouldn't think of it as like a singular letter. But it is very, I don't know, it's very like, whoosh, whoosh, you know?
Lots of energy, but it doesn't feel like it's copying Nike. Now that I analyze it, I can kind of like see like it's kind of like Nike, but when looking at it, I don't immediately think of Nike.
Yeah.
What do we got next? Oh, Bruce. Yeah, Bruce, who is also in the chat. He sent me two different ones with a background and not a background. So I have 1 and 2. I wanted to ask the chat which one they liked more. And then I like this one because it's a adaptation or a progression of the one that we looked at yesterday that also felt very claymation. This one feels a lot the gravity feels heavier on it. It feels like everything is linked together, and it feels more like a solid unit. Whereas like yesterday, it felt like it was two things that then were representing a queue. This feels like the whole thing is meant to be a queue, and I think that's really successful. The one on the right reminds me way more of a CD cover than the one on the left does. Both are cool aesthetics. I think I prefer the left one. How about you, Rach?
I agree. I would also say left. It's funny because my mind immediately goes to like makeup. I'm like, this is melted lipstick, which like you obviously didn't think that right away. So I'd be curious if there's other like people who use makeup in the chat that also saw that. But yeah,
other people who use makeup in the chat. Let's see your lipstick emojis.
Yeah. No one's saying. No one wears makeup here.
No one wears makeup here. But chat, what do you think? Do you think number 1 or number 2? Sound off. Let's hear it, because Bruce is here, and I'm sure he would love to hear your feedback. Stuart says 1, left for me. Yeah, I agree with that one. If you like 2, you're not wrong. Both are great. I enjoy it. Becca says 2. Yeah, see, we got a little split going on. But yeah, great job, man. Oh, and Clever also says 2. So look, we're at 50-50 at that point. This one I thought that you would like. It's a little bit more illustrative. It's by Diane Mazer, and I like the type form itself. I think is cool. I think without the vines, the like the holdout area would feel too far right, but because of the complexity of the leaves in the top left, I think it balances it quite well.
Yeah, the different layers of blue is really interesting. I like it.
Oh, also so many votes in the chat. Thank you. And also Voodoo Val put lipstick in the chat.
Yay.
I see you. Thank you. We have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have like 8 for 1. And how many for 2? Like 4 for 2. All right. So it's still a good split. It's definitely favored in number 2, but like number 1. This one's creepy, so I included it. Jenny has made a few different things. Her name is Jenny God, and her handle is Oh My God, which I think is really funny. But I think it's a scary form. It feels wispy. It feels either like cigar smoke or it feels like a ghost of some sort.
Yeah, I get a tiny bit of like a scientific what are they, like, not flask? Beaker, yeah, at the bottom, and then like
a shot glass, like a
like a little vase or something. I don't know, but yeah, 100%. I like it.
Okay, so this one is by Gabrielle Adam, and she did a bunch. And these are, I think she did like 7 or 8, but I only grabbed the 6. And I wanted to ask the chat again which ones they appreciated the most for Gabrielle. I personally really like number 4 and number 5, which is unexpected to me because I thought that like 3 was a little weird abstract, but then after seeing 3 and then seeing it progress to 5, I really enjoyed 5.
I'm trying not to be influenced by your choices.
Oh, I'm sorry. I should have asked you first.
No. I think I do like 3 the best. But that's just in terms of me being like, that's an R versus like a circle with legs.
In the end, aren't all R's just circles with legs?
Elizabeth
Mock likes 3 a lot. Bruce and Anthony both like 5. Yeah, I like 5.
Yeah, 5 is cool.
6 is cool, but it just feels so different than all of the other ones. So I feel like I like it less because did you like that? I think how my brain decided to completely change words. Steve's actually voting for 6, but yeah, no, it feels the farthest out.
4 forever.
What were you saying?
Oh, just reading.
Oh, Anna said 4 forever. Yeah, 4 forever. Forever. The Sandlot. Oh, oops. And then I put those backwards. It should have been the other way, but it's fine. Sento Sarah created this really cool one, and I actually went through and I pulled some of the other ones that they had done, and that was a really cool exploration. I really liked the I. So it is. Well, actually, do you know what letter these are?
B. Wait. E is the first one.
E's the first one.
What is the second one? It's like a. I don't know what the second one is. Or J maybe J, and then
Yep, Miss
I.
J.
Is that what you said?
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
So it's cool because I mean, obviously I get to see them all, and they post them in order. And the J is one that I don't think. Yeah, to your point, like it's hard to tell what it is without the context. But the J, like once you know it, is cool, and the I think is really nice. They could have easily just made it like up and down, but they added 2 serifs and then also the dot on top. Wasn't necessarily needed, but I think it's cool.
These are cool, and the texture is so cool.
Yeah, it's like paper. I don't know if they physically do it or if it's all digitally made and then made to look like paper. That's what I'm assuming it is, but people surprise you. I'm always shocked by the amount of things that are actually physical.
Yeah.
Oh, and I guess the J, yeah. Brittany says, Behance is finally letting me chat. Well, hi, Brittany.
Oh,
Glad to have
Brittany.
you here. Sorry it was a struggle to get here, but I hope it's worth it because we're glad that you're here. This one is very chromy. This one's kind of like Austin's that we looked at yesterday. I mean, Austin was way more, well, not Austin, Martin. His was way more chromatic in color, but I like the idea of the feeling. And then I also just really like the letter form of this one. It almost feels like 3 different shapes, or 4 different shapes, and they're brought together, but they all feel unified.
I like that it feels like it's somewhere in between a party balloon and melted metal.
Party balloon, like the ones that people hold up when they're like, I'm 25 now.
Yeah, exactly.
With that face.
But it's like sleeker than that. Like it's more modern, It's like this is the balloon of the future.
Balloon.
Yeah.
It's a cool future balloon.
Like you're gonna see this in a sci-fi movie birthday party at some point.
This one I included because I really liked the grids. If you look in the background, there's grids that like make it feel like it was put on a piece of paper. And then I just like the motion of it, how it all feels like it's going into the center. And then I liked all the big stripes. And this is by Nick Raven. Types of Raven.
Super cool.
Oliver thinks that the last one looks like molten mercury, which is also cool.
It did. Yeah, that one.
This we looked at leather type yesterday. Oh, I cut you off. Do you want to go back?
No, go ahead.
Oh. This one we looked at yesterday, leather type. They are really pushing the boundaries as to letter forms. This one feels way more like an R than their Q did. Their Q didn't really feel like a Q, but if you go and you check out their whole set, their set is really neat as a art form. I don't know in practice if you could write anything with it because I don't know if it would be legible. But I love the flow of this one.
I feel like it's the same color as my hair.
Yeah.
I'm like trying to get close to it.
I love your pink hair, by the way.
Thanks.
It's great. I know that you put a lot of effort into it. Because obviously it's like a lighter color to do, but I think it's really cool looking. I should dye my hair. I'm scared my hair's gonna fall out.
I know, I get it. I'm trying to just
because as a man, I mean my hairline. I'm just always like stay.
Hey, honestly, same. Everyone's hairline starts to just like creep back when they get to a certain age.
Wild. I don't want to be that.
But yeah,
old.
this one's super cool. I'm trying to think of what it reminds me of because it kind of reminds me of those vintage animation, like the 2B wiggly arm characters.
Oh, like Gumby.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes, like Gumby.
Gumby, iconic.
Yes.
This one's cool. It has a collection of different shapes. I think this is the person. Yeah, I included this person because, especially the one in the middle, but also on the right and the left, it feels very Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, which is one of my favorite shows for the character design. I also liked how it was written and the humor of it. But I just love how Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends looks, and I thought that these kind of looked similar to that style.
Mm-hmm.
Becca's saying so many nostalgic shows mentioned today. I know, I live in the past too much. Although I do like to watch new cartoons too. I like, even though I'm almost 30, I still like cartoons. So I will always like cartoons. Which is also why I get along with Racheal so well, because Racheal unashamed, unabashedly is like, yeah, I love cartoons. I work in cartoons. And I'm like,
yeah.
Yes. We're almost done, by the way. This one I liked because it's by Federica Barbieri, and it feels like a snake, like the game of Snake. but it has a subtle curve.
Pac-Man.
Yes, or Pac-Man. It's great.
Yeah, that one's cool.
This one we looked at Maria's stuff yesterday as well. She's making all these fake machines that play out.
I love it.
The very thin steel pipe for the R descender, I think, is bold. I don't know if it's that effective, but knowing that it's a series, I can tell that it's an R. Without that context, I don't know if I'd be able to tell if it's an R. And that's not to say that these things aren't successful, because I don't think everyone necessarily is looking for it to be immediately recognizable. I think they're being inspired by the shapes and the letter forms. I just like to kind of, at a super high level, say if it looks like the letter form to me or not. But that's not to say that I don't like it or not. All the ones that I include, I think they're all really great. And it's so inspiring to see people try many different things.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. And I don't know anything about type. I did not take any type classes in college, so I'm just like, this is what it looks like to me. Like I'm just like, oh,
but I mean, that's what it's about. But it's also cool because it's like, it seems like a generically design heavy challenge, but through highlighting different letters every single day on the streams, I've definitely learned and discovered a lot of illustrators too that have used the space to really illustrate. Actually, if you would want to, I even have a clip from Monday that we could play again if you're interested, with Seema Surana. I have to upload it real quick, so we'll see if it breaks up the stream. I'll play it after this next one though. This one's fun. We looked at Syntetico yesterday as well. Kind of gross, kind of wonderful. And I like the little hands. They remind me of little fish hands.
Yeah, it's very similar.
And then like noodle legs, but actually noodles, which is really gross. I don't know if something's coming out of the bottom right one. Like I don't know if that purple is like flying out of it. I don't know. But
this one has so much personality with the eye there.
Yes. Actually, how many slides do I have on this? Oh, there's only one after this, so we'll look at the last one real quick. And then Pamela, which is weird because my mom's name's Pam. Pamela, this one is very grotesque, crazy looking, but I love it. It's gross. It looks like he's like sticking his tongue out. But beautiful use of texture and contrast. And man, that eye just like being dragged down the side is terrifying. I'm here for it.
I can't decide if he's like in pain or if he's like happy. I don't know. I guess it doesn't matter. Analyzing the emotions of the R.
That poor R being tortured to be a letter form. All right, I'm gonna play the Seema real quick, and then we'll take a look at your fish, and we'll close out.
Okay.
How's that?
Hi, I'm Seema Surana. I'm a graphic designer and illustrator based in Bangalore, India. This is my second time doing the 36 Days of Type. Previously, I was exploring landscapes inside the letters, but this time I decided to move out of the letters and work with flourishes and embellishments. I really wanted to bring in some narrative into it and not just make it look all pretty. So each letter talks about something that I was going through, something that I was feeling, or just random mundane things around. And also because there's a ton of carved furniture around home, so you'll always find, chairs with a lot of flourishes, a lot of carving around them. So it's just something that I've always grown up with, and I wanted to bring that into my work too. I think I've learned a lot because this time my color palette was restricted. So I think that's where it got a little tricky for me. Like with some colors, it was really difficult to bring out the elements that I wanted to and the way that I wanted to. To show figures with flourishes was very tricky, but I think I really enjoyed working on them. Letter J so far has been my favorite, and also C. The figures were something new to me, and I've always been really bad with anatomy. It's something I still struggle with. So to find a way to really show figures I was just really happy and proud that I could do something to show it that way. For the type, I did use another font as a reference because I'm not too familiar with the nitty-gritties of it. So it was so I just used something as a base, but at the same time I figured out how to give the cuts that I've been going for. You can follow me on Instagram. My handle is SEEMAAAS, and on Behance as Seema Surana. I am available for any freelance projects, primarily for illustration.
All right, welcome back. And yeah, like I said, we played that one on Monday a little bit, but I thought it was just really tied in well. Just we were talking about illustration and this challenge, and
Those were
enjoyed them.
beautiful.
So.
Beautiful.
Well, let's check out your fish one last time. Oh no, is he gonna eat him?
I was like,
Oh, is
I
it the
forgot to
eel?
draw an eel. Yeah, so I added one in the corner really quick. Yeah, this was just a random. Also, there's some scary eel pictures on Google.
There are terrifying eels. Eels are disgusting looking.
Like some of them don't have faces, and they're just.
If reincarnation comes back, I hope I don't come back as an eel, because I would just be terrified of myself.
I wonder if there's giant eels like there are giant squids.
No, don't put that into my brain. The open ocean freaks me out. But wow, these look so good. Thank you for being able to juggle this and deal with all my questions as well. You're also drawing this.
Of course.
It was such a pleasure having you on. Are you available for freelance, or are you mostly hunkered down with full time these days? I'm
mainly full time. If someone like really wants something, they can reach out. But thankfully I don't feel like I have to rely on my art to make money these days, which is really nice actually, because I can just do it for fun.
Like your therapy.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
And we can check you out on Behance and on Instagram at Racheal Ashley Art. And then you said you stream normally Tuesdays and Wednesdays, or Tuesdays, Thursdays?
Tuesdays, Thursdays. It's usually in the evenings. I'm also just gonna drop my sourcing Instagram in the chat in case you guys want like recruiting specific things. It's Racheal _sources. Yeah. Because I prefer to keep my art page like art stuff and sourcing. That's where I post jobs and stuff. So if you guys want to check it out,
yes, if you're looking for something.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you so much. You were such a pleasure guest to have. I just said ghost. You're a wonderful ghost.
I am dead. Yes.
You're dead. I am dead after this, but thank you so much. And I hope to talk to you again real soon.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you, chat, for hanging out with us. It was lovely to see all you guys talking, typing away. And I got to get back to work now. Ugh.
Good luck. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, guys. I'm just going to close this one out by just saying thank you so much for a wonderful week. I had such a blast hosting Adobe Live for these last 8 episodes. Make sure you check out Offset either on Behance or on YouTube for all the replays that we had for everyone this week. Thank you to everyone that was so supportive in the chat. I don't have time to run through everyone's name because I'm going to get cut off soon. But thank you so much. I am very hopeful that maybe we could bring Offset back in the future, but we shall see. And make sure you follow me on Behance, on Instagram, on Twitter, and on YouTube. I stream on Behance and YouTube on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at 4 p.m. Eastern. And I will be back to my regular schedule with that next week, come Tuesday. So I hope to see you guys all over there. And thank you again. It's really been great. A big thank you to Voodoo Val for keeping up with mods, and also for the 36 days of type as she has every single day. She's amazing. Give her a follow. And thank you to everybody else. I appreciate it. All right. Thanks for watching.
You're still here? It's over. Go home.
Go.